one night and said, I have a challenge for you, and as always, and we continue to have challenges in the city of Chicago, especially here on the west side of Chicago. When she talked about what was going to come of this and what we could do and what potential it would bring to the city and what we wanted to do to keep positive influences in our city, and especially a world-class soccer organization in the city, to me it was a no-brainer. However, we had to work with the residents here in the community, and they responded in an overwhelming fashion, and to a point where they were able to move some things forward on behalf of this community. And that's why I think this partnership is great and will continue to be great for years to come. I want to introduce none other than our Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
And yes, it always seems like our most interesting adventures come in Alderman Irvin's ward, and that's a good thing, because the Alderman, I think, not only understands the need for community engagement, community respect, community benefits, but also sees the bigger picture of what is in the best interest of our city. Having someone who understands his fiduciary responsibility to all the residents of our city, helming so many important projects, really is a godsend, and I am incredibly grateful for Alderman Irvin's leadership. So thank you, Alderman. You can clap for that. We are in his ward. Give him a little bit of love. So unlike the Alderman, I'm not as tall, so you can't see. I'll step aside. I think there's a lot of important symbolism in this soccer pitch scarf. Because of course it has the symbol for the Chicago Fire, but it's joined by the symbol for the Obla homes and the residents. And that's really what today, in my mind, is all about. We're here to break ground on the Chicago Fire Football Club Performance Center that will provide a number of community benefits in addition to new training facilities that will elevate the Chicago Fire even further. And we are so grateful that the Chicago Fire not only came back to the city of Chicago, but continues to invest in our city. So I'm very proud to say with today's groundbreaking, my administration has now broken ground on two of the largest parcels of vacant land on the west side. Some of you may remember not only this facility, but also earlier this year, we broke ground on the long dormant facility at Roosevelt and Costner, both Invest Southwest projects, which means we are activating over 50 acres of vacant land on the west side. That's a total win. And repurposing that land to serve our residents with new neighborhood amenities and economic empowerment for decades to come. So, of course, first and foremost, thanks goes to Joe Mansueto and his team. I already thanked Alderman Irvin. We've got to thank, and we'll hear from the residents here who have fought fiercely to make sure that their voices were at the table, that their needs were reflected, and I am so proud of the way in which the residents have been incredible advocates for themselves and their communities. I also want to thank the HUD, because this couldn't have come about without them. I appreciate that the local leaders are here. Thank you so much, not only for the work that you've done on this project, but on every project that we've come to you with creative ideas about how to repurpose vacant land, and you've been great partners for us. We are deeply, deeply grateful and appreciative. And you'll hear from a moment from Tracy Scott. I think the best CEO that the Chicago Housing Authority truly has ever had. And I say that as without brag or boast, not because she's in the room, not because people confuse us as looking like each other, but because she not only is smart, understands what the work that must be done, puts the residents and their needs first, but also understands that economic development is a big part of what the Chicago Housing Authority should also be about. So Tracy, thank you, and thank your team. But let me Let me return back to Joe Mansueto for a moment. Now, Joe is not a guy who seeks out the limelight. He's not a guy who, likes to see his name in the press as maybe some others that we could name. But this man cares deeply about Chicago. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And since the time that he made the decision to bring the fire to Soldier Field, you could see that. And I like to think that he has also heeded my repeated cry to the business community to invest in our city, to invest in our residents, not be on the sidelines, not be the perpetual critic, but be someone who's about solutions. And that's exactly what he's done. And let me share a little bit more that I think underscores that. He's been a close partner with us on Invest Southwest, and in fact made one of the key contributions to a project in East Humboldt Park, the Terminal Project. That's a $50 million redevelopment of old warehouses in that neighborhood that's now a thriving technology hub located also on an Invest Southwest corridor. Joe is also personally supportive of the $30 million North Austin Center, a 10-acre campus on vacant land that provides space for education, for sports, and holistic wellness for the greater Austin community. Just some of the things that he's done in my tenure. So to me, Joe is the personification of a good corporate citizen. He is involved. He's investing, and he's working to make sure that our residents, no matter where they are in our city, have a chance at success. So, Joe, thank you on behalf of the residents of our city. You're also going to hear today from the president of Abla Homes, Brooks Homes, Local Advisory Council, Mary Baggett, who will give you the full history, which is important. And you're going to hear, and I have to thank Deputy Mayor of Business and Neighborhood Development, Samir Mayakar. I've said this before. Samir's fingerprints, his hands, his love and support are touching so many of the important economic developments that are happening in the city all over, but particularly the South and the West Side. Thank you, Samir, again, for all that you've done. So let me share a little bit about what this new facility will bring to the residents and to the fire. This site will feature 53,000 square foot, two-story performance center built on CHA land. As part of a long-term lease, the fire will finance the development of this multi-million-dollar facility and provide an $8 million community investment to be used for the rehabilitation and preservation of nearby CHA housing and renovation of the Family Resource Center that we're gathered here in. You all must not have heard me. I said that the fire is making an $8 million investment. Yeah, let's give it up. Construction will include the creation of a two and a half hybrid grass pitches and 3 synthetic turf pitches, providing world-class training for the fire's professional and academy players. Furthermore, the site will include spaces that can host free sports programming for local youth, community green spaces, and so much more. The lease agreement between the city and the Chicago Fire is expected to generate $40 million in revenue for the CHA over the next 40 years. And in turn, the CHA will use those proceeds to invest in its housing mission, including the nearby Abla, Brooks Homes, Loomis Courts, and William Jones developments. Ladies and gentlemen, all in all, this is a monumental day for the Chicago Fire as an organization, for the players present and future, for CHA tenants, and for our entire city. Between the Performance Center, new pitches, and community spaces, this project will provide many employment and career opportunities for our residents to access. Always important. It's great that we build. Jobs will be generated by that. It's great that we have lasting monument. But what's really important and a game changer is when we make these investments, we need to create full-time employment for the residents so they continue to benefit. Because we know that when public housing is located alongside quality schools, recreational and job opportunities, healthcare access, and more, the residents truly benefit and thrive. And the residents will undoubtedly benefit from the opportunity to earn jobs, play sports, and gather here to revitalize their neighborhood. The new Performance Center and Training Facility creates an economic anchor for this near west side that we expect will catalyze future developments and further strengthen CHA housing projects and the surrounding neighborhoods. So we are thrilled that this is happening. We are excited to see it rise from the ground. I told Joe a while ago, make sure that your office faces the beautiful view of our incredible skyline. So, you know this, Chicago is a sports town. We are excited that the Chicago Fire is part of our winning legacy. The Fire have won 6 major domestic championship titles, and this new world-class center will set them up for future success on the pitch. So I'm delighted that Joe and the team are committed, and the lease agreement between the Fire and the CHA is truly transformative and an example of the right kind of public-private partnerships for our city. So with that, I invite CHA CEO Tracy Scott to come and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. I have to figure out how to make sure that I wear this just so I model it. Good morning. I'm Tracy Scott, and I'm the CEO of the Chicago Housing Authority. And on behalf of the Board of Commissioners and the staff of the Chicago Housing Authority, I want to thank you for being here today. We are excited about this. I'd like to start by thanking the Mayor Mayor Lori Lightfoot for your commitment to racial equity and the unmatched investments in affordable housing and in our communities across Chicago. So thank you so much for your support. I also want to thank HUD in particular for ensuring that we made all of the right and proper steps for moving this forward. So earlier this year, we celebrated another groundbreaking here at Roosevelt Square. Our partner, Related Midwest, will deliver 222 new mixed-income homes, including 80 for families who need CHA subsidies. This phase also includes a grocery store, restaurant, and the renovation of 184 affordable apartments that were built during the first phase of Roosevelt Square 15 years ago. It's a public-private partnership worth $172 million in this community that's invested in this city, this community, in an affordable housing, and in families. And so now, sorry, that's right, $172 million, okay. I don't want to outshine today, but it is investment in housing in this community. And so now we're here today to talk about a public-private partnership that will benefit this community. As the mayor said, this unique partnership with the Chicago Fire Football Club. This is a rare opportunity for CHA to reactivate the former Obla land that has sat vacant for nearly 20 years. And since it's football, I thought I'd quote the legendary and fictional football coach Ted Lasso, who said it best. Taking on a challenge is, and I won't do the accent, taking on a challenge is a lot like riding a horse, isn't it? If you're comfortable while you're doing it, you're probably doing it wrong. And this hasn't been an easy road, what project ever is, but it is right. Over the last 12 months or so, we began talking with nearby Obla residents who are here today. Give a shout out, everybody here. We began those talks to determine how to bring housing to this community while also building a community asset. And before I go on, I do want to take a moment to recognize Mary Baggett and Robert Merritt. Ms. Baggett is the president of the Local Advisory Council, and Robert Merritt is representing Loomis Courts. You're going to stand, please. Yeah. You've been true champions for the residents, and I thank you for your commitment and your tenacity. So in the final analysis, this partnership will secure substantial funds to improve aging public housing at Abla Brooks Homes and Loomis Courts. And included in the ground lease, the fire has committed to significant community investments that were requested specifically by the Abla Brooks Homes residents. These investments include jobs for CHA residents during construction and during the lease period, and internships, because we want to ensure that young people are exposed to careers on the field, at the sidelines, and in the sports management office suite at the top level. It also includes open public green space, renewing this center that we're here today, the Jane Addams Family Resource Center, a new parking lot for tenants of the CHA's William Jones Senior Apartments, a basketball court, and preferred access for CHA youth to Chicago Fire programming and summer camps, or soccer camps. All told, as the mayor said, this project will bring in more than $48 million in revenue to CHA over the next 40 years, money that will be reinvested to preserve and maintain existing public housing in this city. Again, $48 million. And I'd like to make one point crystal clear. CHA will fulfill our commitment to developing new housing in this area. Let me repeat, we will fulfill our commitment for mixed income housing at Roosevelt Square. So nothing is lost here. We get funds to improve Abla Brooks Homes and Loomis Courts, jobs and exposure to careers, new recreational facilities, green space, and we can build the new housing that we've committed to on other vacant CHA and city-owned land. And the city gets a new corporate headquarters with hundreds of workers and jobs and careers. This is win, 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 win as a proposition. Or as the great Pele said, I had to get some soccer quotes in here, and he's a real person, as many know, the more difficult the victory, the greater the happiness in winning. Okay, back to Ted. So just listen to your gut, he said, and on the way down to your gut, check in with your heart. And between those two things, they'll let you know what's what. And my head, my gut, my heart tells me that this project fits perfectly into CHA's mission. It recognizes our mission, which is to build strong communities that are made up of more than just housing. Our investments go beyond replacing the failed public housing of the past. Thriving communities, diverse by race and income, have strong neighborhood public schools, commerce and jobs, public transportation, grocery stores, green space and healthcare, and in short, strong communities create opportunities for families and children. And whether it's the Taylor Street Library, the SOS Children's Village near here, or the new National Public Housing Museum, or the Chicago Fire Training Facility, CHA is proud of the role that we are playing in creating sustainable, mixed income, mixed use communities where seniors thrive and everyone can unlock their economic power. So in closing, I'd like to again thank Mayor Lightfoot, to Joe Mansueto, Ari Glass, who's sitting there in the back, Caddy, the CHA team, including Ann McKenzie, our head of real estate development, and Dan Cruz, and to the Chicago Fire and Related Midwest for your partnership and our commitment to the residents of this community, and to the Roosevelt Square and Abla residents who are here. In 5, 10, 20 years, I believe that you will look back at this moment as a game changer for you and your families. Or as the fictional Ted Lasso said, believe. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for the very kind comments. Though when you talk about me personally, When I met Florence here this morning from the Abla Homes, I think she summed up my role quite well. Frances, I'm sorry. Francine. You're the bag man, she told me. And so, fortunately, I have a talented team around me. But, I do love Chicago. I love things that advance the city, and I think this project is certainly one of them. So today is a historic day for our soccer club, the Chicago Fire, and a great day for the city of Chicago. We are absolutely thrilled to partner with the city to build just to the west of us this new training facility. Our club celebrated its 25th anniversary last year. We were started in 1997, but in all that time, we've never owned our own training facility, much less have one in the city. Now, we proudly wear our badge on our jerseys that has the name of our city. So it's important that we train in our city and that we be an active member of our community. Now, this performance center not only trains our first team, our professional teams, but also houses our academy. So unlike the other professional leagues, we develop our own talent. And we do that through our academy system. Our academy has U13, U14, U15, and U17 teams. And it's been very successful. We had a player last year, Gaga Slanina, kid from Addison, Illinois, moved to Chelsea, one of the top clubs in the world, over the past year. We have another young player, Brian Gutierrez, we call him Guti, starting on our first team, doing phenomenally this year. He's very likely to play in Europe. These are both kids from the Chicago area that we've trained and developed. So with this state-of-the-art training center, our world-class coaches, now kids from the broader area, south, north, east, west, can have access to this and develop their soccer skills to their full potential. Now, this performance center, as we've heard, is also a terrific win for the city of Chicago. The $90 million facility will provide many construction jobs, ongoing employment, and internships for people in the community. And we know that's important. We want to be a good member of our community. Additionally, as you've heard, we've committed to providing $8 million of donation to be used for the rehabilitation of nearby housing and the creation of indoor and outdoor spaces for the community. Now, I also hope our new performance center will spur additional development around it. When we built a school on the south side, that's exactly what happened. We built the school, a McDonald's popped up, an Advocate Health Center popped up, and so hopefully this will spur other development in this area, and this will be a catalyst for that development. I really want to applaud the innovative thinking of our city's leaders who've embraced the idea of a public-private partnership to make this happen. That's not easy to do, and they were creative, they had the will, and they made it happen. So a big thank you to all of our city's leaders. Now, it's been a multi-year journey, as many people in this room know, to get to this point. When I reflect back on this experience, a song comes into my head, a Beatles song. I don't know if you can guess which one. A Long and Winding Road. And that's what it was. It was a long and winding road to get here, but fortunately, it has a very happy ending. It took leadership, vision, and courage to navigate that road and to make this new center happen. First and foremost, I want to thank Mayor Lightfoot. Without her steadfast and unwavering support, we would not be here today. It was solely due to her leadership and efforts. She was enthusiastic from the beginning. As soon as we mentioned this, she had the vision to see what this could mean for Chicago in terms of all the benefits that we've described this morning. She's also become a Fire fan. We've seen her out at Soldier Field at the games, and we want to see her there more often over the summer. So a big thank you to Mayor Lightfoot. I'd also like to thank the mayor's very talented team, who we work with so closely. Most notably, Deputy Mayor Samir Mayakar, as well as the people around him, Alderman Jason Irvin, and CEO CHA CEO Tracy Scott. You've all been phenomenal, and we thank you for your ongoing partnership and leadership. So thank you. I'd also like to thank our internal team, led by our dynamic duo of Paul Cadwell. We call him Caddy. You may have heard Caddy's name mentioned. He's in the back there. And Ari Glass. Caddy and Ari really, from our side, kind of led this effort, working closely with the city's team. So thank you to those gentlemen. And then finally, none of this would have been possible without the support of ABLA Brooks LAC President Mary Baggett. We've worked, thank you, Mary. We've worked hand in hand with Mary and ABLA residents on the plans for this project, and cannot thank Mary enough for her partnership. And we look forward to a long and productive relationship. This groundbreaking has been years in the making, and it was a priority for our club to be in one of Chicago's 77 neighborhoods to call home. Our hope is that with this facility, we can bring the city closer together and bring the Chicago Fire to the forefront of soccer in this country. Thank you very much. And now, Mary Baggett. Thank you, Mary.
How y'all doing? It has been a long, long time coming. But I want to say to everybody, good morning, everyone. Today has been a long, amazing journey. And with this journey, it has been some ups and downs. I just want to give a big thanks to everybody that did work with us on this project. It wouldn't have happened without the key players. Tracy Scott, Lori Lightfoot, Jason Irving, Miss Francine Washington. I ain't gonna leave you out because you sat at that table with us. And HUD, thank you all, for just even being there and being supportive to this project. ABLA and Loomis Court residence has been around for over 50 plus years. This is the second major project since the demolition of our original building. Chicago Fire is an organization that has shown concern and sought out the input from residents from the community on planning. This project has brought together residents, CHA, Alderman Irving, Chicago Fire Soccer, Related, and the Mayor's Office to bring not only a beautiful facility, but work diligently to ensure this project benefits the residents of the ABLA community. This will be done by bringing new housing, engagement, and career opportunities to the community. Residents will be afforded the opportunity to do plays, workshops, culinary classes, and other community events. I'm a little nervous. We will work with this organization to bring programs that engage all residents, youth, seniors, and adults. Chicago Fire Soccer, Boer, and Pepper Construction are the developers developing opportunities for the sponsorship for selecting individuals to get trained with union to receive their certificates. Chicago Fire Soccer has already started working with high schools and colleges students to engage them in the opportunity at the club for internship and membership opportunities. So on today, I say thank you to CHA, Tracy Scott, Alderman Irving, Francine Washington for being there to ensure we are treated fairly in this process. Thank you to Chicago Fire Soccer team for being the best company in the world to work with. That they are. Some great people. You all have done an amazing job with valuing the residents, and I want to thank you for your effort with touching lives of many. Lastly, but not least, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, for your continuous effort to help transform the way people view the underserved communities of Chicago. You have done an amazing job. Thank you all for making the decision to bring the Chicago Fire soccer field to the ABLA community. And this is a community benefit agreement. Housing will return back to CHA land, just so you all will know, because there was a lot of rumors saying, oh, ain't no housing coming back. But there will be housing coming back to Chicago Housing Public Land, just so you all will know for the record. Jessica, Caddy, Eden, thank you all. You all were great. Alderman, thank you. Couldn't have done it without you. Juan T, man, a fighter. She worse than me. Hey, Juan. But definitely a fighter, and I want to thank her for her support and continuing on. And I also want to say we also have MIKK Construction, who will also be a part of this project as well. So thank you all for being great supporters. And Mr. Joe, thank you for being supportive to us and bringing this to our community to build us up. Thank you. And right here, without him, this is Robert Merritt.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Merritt, representative of Lomas Courts and ABLA as well. Just want to give some special thanks to YT, Chicago Fire, for their unwavering faith in ABLA Homes to help bring ABLA Home back up. You know, want to thank Latonio Alston and Christopher Williams for being a part of construction to try to help bring young men out of ABLA into the work field.
You gotta have a seat.
We definitely want to appreciate.
Emma, you gotta have a seat. You can't do that. You can't do that. But you can't, Emma. You have to have a seat. Yes, you do. You have to have a seat. Emma, you have to go out. You have to go have a seat, Miss Emma. Have a seat. You ain't done it. Emma, you have to have a seat. He's working for Lomas Court. Go.
Once again, just want to thank everyone who was involved in this project to make sure that we bring jobs back to the community as well as housing back to ABLA. Thank you all so much.
And this will conclude this portion. We're going to go over to the groundbreaking. But before we do that, I do want, this is, I think, the last time, unless you have another trick up your sleeve, for us over here in the 28th Ward. And I just wanted to publicly thank Mayor Lightfoot for the work that she's done, not just on the 28th Ward, but for the west side of Chicago. Because he's always said, so goes the west side, so goes our city. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for everything that you've done on behalf of residents, not just here in ABLA, but across the west side in our city. And again, if you have another trick up your sleeve, I'll see you soon. But nonetheless, I believe. So let's give her a hand for everything she's done for us here in this community. So thank you.